sending Mum flowers for Mother's Day, the cat's whiskers. Showering Mum with flowers and chocolates for Mother's Day is a wonderful way to share your appreciation for everything that mums do for us. But flower power may pose a significant threat to our four-legged companions, who, after all, are part of the family. Feline welfare charity Cats Protection have just undertaken some research, and I have Madison Rogers here, Senior Advocacy and Government Relations Officer of charity Cats Protection, to speak to me. So, Madison, can you fill me in on some of the research that you found?
Cats Protection has found that 6 in 10 adults in the UK are not aware that lilies are fatal to cats if they ingest them. And as well as lilies, there's actually other flowers which are poisonous to cats to some degree too. So there's a lot of flowers that you could buy which could sadly be harmful to your cat, which is obviously not what people want to do on Mother's Day, because as you said, it's supposed to be a nice gesture and show of appreciation for everything that mums do them. So we're encouraging pet owners and people who've got moms who've got cats to be extra vigilant during Mother's Day and try and look out for flowers which are safe for cats. So if people want to obviously find out more about that, they can look at our website at cats.org.uk and search for dangerous plants. Or if they're looking for a specific example of something that they can buy, we would recommend a pure bouquet of roses or sunflowers. Or if they perhaps want to buy a house plant, we would recommend buying a moth orchid, as all of these are safe for cats.
Sometimes, is it the fact that curiosity killed the cat? Because is it particularly young cats, kittens, that are affected, or do older cats suffer as well from these toxins?
All cats are affected by the toxins, but obviously kittens are smaller in size, so they need less of the toxin to be infected. And as I said, lilies are the worst. So even the smallest amount of pollen on the fur can be fatal for a cat, because if they then groom that fur, they're ingesting that pollen. So it does affect all cats. Obviously, some cats are more curious than others, which, can be the case with kittens because everything is new and exciting to them. But we would recommend people not keeping lilies in their house if they've got cats, or if they've already got a bouquet of lilies sat there right now on their table, if they're able to move them to perhaps a room that the cat isn't allowed to go to, that's the safest thing to do.
That's amazing. I've never heard of this before, I must say. So, in fact, now at this time of the year, we've got coming up for Easter, there's loads of daffodils, tulips. Do those spring flowers affect cats as well?
Yes, unfortunately, it's a very complex area, and there are lots of different flowers that are toxic to different degrees. So you just mentioned daffodils there. They're also one of the flowers that are toxic to cats. So it is difficult and a bit of a minefield, really, for consumers to get their heads around. So what Cats Protection is doing is calling upon retailers to introduce a pet safe sticker onto their flower bouquets, so that people can make that simple, easy choice when they're buying flowers, and they get that reassurance that is safe for cats and people who've got cats.
That's a great idea, but surely if they put a warning sign when you're buying a kitten as well, don't put these kittens near these potentially toxic plants. Can we do it both ends of the spectrum?
Cats Protection does obviously advise people when they come to adopt from us, and we put loads of information out on our website and on social media to reach cat owners so that they know that flowers, and especially lilies, can be toxic to cats.
So tell me, Madison, what are the symptoms? What should you be aware of if suddenly you think, there's something wrong with my cat? What are the symptoms they would show?
There are many different reactions to poisonings, but common symptoms that people should look out for is vomiting, any twitching or fitting, breathing difficulties, salivation. But if somebody notices any change in the behaviour of their cat, they should take them to the vets immediately to be checked out.
Would the vet specifically ask whether the cat's been near any plants or flowers potentially?
Yes, the vet can do, and we know of a lady who unfortunately had an incident where she had some lilies in her house that had been bought for her after she'd unfortunately suffered from COVID. Her mum had brought her this beautiful bouquet of flowers which contained lilies, and she'd seen her cat nibbling at them, and a cat became ill. So she took it to the vets, and the vet did tests and then asked her direct, have you got any lilies in your house, or has your cat been near a bouquet? And sort of the penny drops then for this poor owner, and she realised that she had flowers in the house and seen the cat nibbling them, and that was what had caused this reaction. So the vets do ask, because they know it's unfortunately a common thing that might happen to cats. And sadly, in the case I just mentioned, the cat did have a fatal reaction and kidney failure, and unfortunately had to be put to sleep, which is,
tragic,
truly, truly horrific and very sad for the owners.
Oh dear. Now, I love lilies myself, but I do find their sort of their blooms are beautiful, but the fragrance can be quite overwhelming. And I was always taught to cut out the stalks, because they have that, the pollen on the end of them often can drop and discolour like your tablecloths or anything else that's sitting around. Would that help if somebody delivered some lilies and you decided, well, what shall I do? I've got a cat or I've got a kitten. I really ought to bin them, which is not what you want to do with gorgeous blooms, is it? So what would you suggest? That we just get rid of the blooms, or we just say to our friends and family, please don't send lilies?
All parts of the lily plant are toxic to cats, not just the little bit in the middle with the pollen. So obviously, if somebody's gone out of their way to buy you a beautiful bouquet, we understand that obviously people wouldn't want to offend that person. If they're able to put that bouquet out of reach of a cat, for example, in a room that they do not go into, obviously that is safe, and people do know their own cats. If somebody's perhaps ordered a bouquet online, they might want to just go and check that what's included in it and contact the retailer if they notice perhaps there is lilies in that bouquet and their mom's got a cat, and they might be able to do something about it at this stage.
Gosh, that's quite horrifying, isn't it? So the other things that you could send your mother instead of flowers, can we give chocolates to cats? I mean, if chocolates are open on a table, a coffee table, for example, could they cause a toxic reaction as well?
Chocolate is toxic to cats as well, yes. We would encourage people to put it away once they've finished eating it. Obviously with flowers, you do tend to leave them out and potentially unattended, whereas with chocolate, it is more likely that people will, if you're me, you'll just eat it all, or put it back in the cupboard, obviously once you've finished with what you wanted. So it's still toxic to cats, and again, good to raise awareness of that, but the circumstances under which cats find themselves around these sorts of foods is less than with flowers.
I mean, it's so traditional, isn't it, on Mother's Day to send flowers and chocolates. Have you got any ideas of what else we could send to our mothers?
Well, if they are a cat lover, they can obviously become a member of Cats Protection. If they visit our website at cats.org.uk, you can find out about how they could do this. Obviously, Cats Protection supports stray and unwanted and abandoned animals across the whole of the UK. And, I think obviously just talking to your mom and getting her something that she's interested in, it, or going out of your way to, try and find that pet safe bouquet. As I said, a pure bouquet of roses or sunflowers or a moth orchid plant are safe plants for cats.
I think at the end of the day, mums are just pleased to hear from their children, aren't they, on Mother's Day, and perhaps a special magazine or a little bit of jewellery. But I think that's fantastic information that you've given us today, and I've certainly learned a lot. I had no idea about this, and once upon a time, my friend had an indoor cat, because of course some cats don't go outside at all, and that just makes me horrified now of some of the plants and the flowers I used to send her for her birthday, etc. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today, Madison. Absolutely fascinating. And where can people, just repeat the website again so people can find out more information if they wish to?
Yeah, if people want to find out more, they can visit Cats Protection's website at cats.org.uk and they can search for dangerous plants.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Madison. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thank you for your time, Heather.
This is Heather Hilder-Darling on Let's Talk Property, Radio Reverb 97.2 FM and DAB.